important question that needs to be answered as a part of your human resource planning is where to recruit the candidates from. What are the sources of recruitment? Whether to hire the candidate from your home country or whether to hire the candidate from your host country. What should be the strategy? And you have multiple strategies here. Now, when you look at this slide, you will come across there are two countries here. One is United States and the other one is Mexico. So the parent company is situated in United States. As you can see here, the flags are also being given. But the subsidiary company, the branch, is in Mexico. So now the question is, forget about your home country. The host country where you want to do business is Mexico. That is where you want to establish your subsidiary. So when you go to Mexico, would you like to hire people from Mexico or would you like to take people from your country to Mexico? What has happened in this situation? Now you see in Mexico also people are standing with US flags, which is an indication that you want to take people from your own country in the foreign nation also. And if you do so, this is called as ethnocentric approach. So in ethnocentric approach, HRs do not recruit the locals, but they recruit people from their own home country. Generally, this approach is not followed for low-level jobs. By and large, most of the multinational companies follow ethnocentric only for executive jobs. When we say executive jobs, they are strategic jobs, which involves a role in which you decide the future of the company, you decide the direction of the company. So whether it is CEO, managing director, chairman of a particular department, for these kind of roles, generally companies follow ethnocentric approach, right? So don't be under the impression that in ethnocentric approach, all the employees will be taken from home country. It absolutely doesn't make sense. Imagine if you have 25 or 30 housekeeping or ministerial staff. Would you take even these kind of ministerial staff from your home country and spend millions of rupees on their travel, food, expenses, stay? The answer is absolutely doesn't make sense. So ethnocentric approach means taking people from your home country to the host country, but only for executive positions. Now, the rationality, the logic behind the ethnocentric approach, why this approach says that you should take your own people for the higher level positions is because if you take people from your own company, they have better understanding. They know what your company stands for. They understand the vision and mission of the company. They know the objectives of the company. So they can easily frame policies, make decisions, keeping company in the picture, right? Imagine if St. Joseph's starts a new college in Dubai. Absolutely doesn't make sense to hire a principal or a director or a dean from Dubai. Because even if you hire, these people would not have better understanding of your organizational culture, your vision, your mission, your goals. So therefore, if you take principal, deans, directors from India and recruit the teachers there locally, it makes more sense. This is what ethnocentric approach advocates. It's not that I'm saying it. It is what ethnocentric believes in. So let's move on to some of the other approaches now. So let's see what are the other approaches we have when it comes to selection of expatriates or international employees. The next approach is something which is quite opposite to what we saw in the previous one. And from the image on the left side top of the slide, you can probably do an interpretation as to what is happening in this situation. So in this situation, as you can see, the parent company or the home country of the MNC is Australia. You see two people holding Australian flag there. But this company has its subsidiary in India. So you see India's map is also presented. But in India's map, when you look at India's map, people in India's map are actually from India itself. They're holding Indian flags. Unlike the previous ethnocentric approach, you saw both in the home country as well as the host country, people were holding US flags. But here, as you can see, from the home country, people are holding Australian flags. But when it comes to India, people are holding Indian flags. So what this basically means is in a polycentric approach, a company adopts the strategy of limiting recruitment to the nationals of host country, which means all the recruitment in the host country happens by deploying the people from that respective country itself. So when a company goes to any country, the people are locally sourced rather than taking them from the home country. And the logic behind is very simple, that locals have better understanding of the ecosystem, business ecosystem. They have the better understanding of the business environment. They are well versed with the customer characteristics, government policies. So they have better inputs, better uh, knowledge of the local conditions. So it's better and advisable to hire people both in top level management as well as in the operational level management from the host country itself, because host country employees are better prepared to handle any kind of situation. They are better prepared to take good decisions because they have local expertise, which otherwise the executives from the home country might not have. So that's the rationality. Apart from that, there are other benefits also, obviously. If you hire people from the host country, right, the advantage is that you will get to save a lot of money in terms of cost, because taking your people from your respective home country would cost you more because you have to pay them higher salary in your respective currency, right? You have to give them accommodation, all sorts of other benefits which would escalate the cost. But here, the foreign employees in the host country, their currency value is much cheaper. The cost of labor is much cheaper. The standard of living is much cheaper. So obviously, you get to save a lot of money on that. That's the another reason as to why polycentric approach seems to be a better option than ethnocentric approach. But these two approach make right sense because these are the two options which we can understand, that either you hire from your own respective country or you hire people from those country where you're doing business. And the second option is something which is widely used by the multinational companies across the globe. And the second option would also avoid all sorts of uh, rather, I would say, trouble created by the labor unions and other politically affiliated associations. Because imagine if a foreign company comes to India to do business, and if they are hiring all, they're not hiring Indians only. Obviously, the opposition parties and other political outfits, the labor associations will definitely go against this company because it is using all the resources of our country, but unfortunately, it is not giving any sorts of employment. So why should we benefit this company, which is using all the resources of our nation and not actually giving us anything in return? So that also the kind of attitude and mindset most of the host country national citizens will have. So this approach seems to be a good approach, and obviously it will also help the company to maintain harmony with the various political outfits and associations. So this is the widely used approach. But apart from these two approaches, which seems to be a very standard approaches, there are other alternatives also. So what are the other alternatives apart from hiring people from host country and home country? Is there any other option also? Now the other option is something what you see on your screen. Right now, this seems to be a quite a mixture of everything, because you see in the home country, which is United States of America. Sorry, the home country here is UK. The parent company is in UK, as you can see in the picture there, and the subsidiary company, that means the host country, is United States. And in both the countries, which is the home country as well as the host country, you see people all across the globe are being employed. It's not just people from that particular country. You have a mix of everything. So you have people from that country, people from other countries. So what kind of an approach is this? This approach is called geocentric approach. So HR has its own challenges because sometimes the kind of skill sets what you're looking in the employees, you might not find those skill sets, those required parameters in the people of your home country or in the host country. So obviously you have to source the talent from wherever it is best available, whichever country the talent is available, source people from that country. Why are you keen on hiring only people from either host or home country? Because ultimate goal is to get the best talent. And if the best talent is available elsewhere, if it is spread across the globe, then why not take people from all the countries where you get the best talent? So that's the whole logic behind geocentric approach. So when a company adopts the strategy of recruiting the most suitable candidates for the positions available in it, irrespective of their nationalities, it is called geocentric approach. Now, what kind of positions requires geocentric approach? So companies that are truly global in nature adopt this approach since it utilizes a globally integrated business strategy, and large multinational companies generally adopt geocentric approach with considerable success. The only challenge from the HR point of view is that HR operations are constrained by several factors like political, ethnical, government laws, and it's difficult to adopt this approach also. Now, from a viewpoint of HR, it has its own challenges because people who are coming from diverse economic, socio-cultural background, making them to work together in itself is a great challenge. And second, you have to also adhere to the local laws, right? Given the fact that India has problems, issues, right, with some of our neighboring countries. Imagine if Infosys gets people from China to work in Bangalore, Infosys gets people from Pakistan to work in Bangalore. Obviously, it will have some sort of the issues. Already, in Indian Premier League, we are not allowing players from certain countries. So if this happens, then obviously there will be a political uproar, right? Definitely there will be unrest. So that's also a challenge because there is no country probably in the world which, I mean, does not have any kind of contradiction or conflict with any other country. Most of the countries have one or the other countries which with whom they don't have proper cordial relationships. So obviously, implementing this approach would be quite a challenging task for HRs, right? Because not just culturally managing the employee, but government laws and the attitude of the political parties also impact the prospects. But by and large, the concept of recruiting the talent wherever it is best available seems to be a very rational approach from a HR point of view. So this is called your geocentric approach. Then you also have another interesting approach. Now, this approach is called regiocentric approach. Now, this seems to be an interesting approach because when you look at the parent company is US, which means that's the home country. But when you look at the subsidiary is based in Italy, right? So that's the host country. But in Italy, you see people carrying flags of different countries there. Now, when you closely observe these flags belong to most of the European countries only, right? Which means you are hiring people in Italy from a specific region, and that region is Europe. So, regiocentric approach uses managers from various countries within the geographic regions of business. So, if you are based in Asia, if your business is spread across Asia, which means if you are establishing a new subsidiary in India, so you don't mind hiring people in India who are from Asia, but not beyond that. So Asia is the region from where you are primarily hiring the people. So that's the rationality behind regiocentric approach. Regiocentric approach is adaptable to the company and product strategy. When regional expertise is needed, natives of the regions are hired. So sometimes, as I mentioned, a particular region may have similar set of features, characteristics. So in that case, this approach works very well. If product knowledge is crucial, then parent company nationals who have ready access to corporate sources of information can be brought in. So it's not just hiring people from a particular region. If need arises, then you can obviously also access people from the parent country, which means if there is a need in the Italian subsidiary for a manager from USA, that is also possible in this approach. So this approach primarily lays emphasis on hiring people from a specific region rather than the entire world. So these are the four approaches for international recruitment. You have the ethnocentric approach, which is basically a home country orientation. Then you have polycentric approach, which is basically a host country orientation. Then you have the geocentric approach, which lays emphasis on hiring talent wherever it is best available in the world, source the talent from that particular country. That in the last one is the regiocentric approach, in which an organization hires people from a specific region, because by and large that is where in that region is where the company is operating. So these are the four approaches to international recruitment.